Luka has something special about him. He's a magnet. I mean, he averages 9 assists per game. We see the shots, the one-legged runners, the three-point shot he made against the Clippers. We see the incredible fadeaways that remind you of Dirk. But ultimately, Key, there are certain players in basketball, LeBron James being one, that make everybody else exponentially better. They make the game easy for you. We talk about LeBron James getting guys like Boobie Gibson, Matthew Dellavedova paid a lot of money.
It's true.
And Luka Doncic is one of those players. And I said the other day, there's a reason why LeBron wanted to sign Luka to be his first original signature shoe for LeBron James, because he has that same kind of snack, crackle, and pop that you talk about, Key. He has it.
There's no question that he's headed in the right direction. Now, when you start saying attracting the star players, it depends. Will Dallas even be able to keep Luka? Will Dallas be able to keep?
You don't think Mark Cuban?
You just don't know, man. The NFL, the NBA is so fluid in terms of moving things around and how these players think. Who's to say that all of a sudden somebody's not recruiting him to leave Dallas to come join them? So when you look at it, for him to win an NBA title, does he need another alpha dog to go along with him? Who's available?
Zach LaVine.
That would say, okay, I want to leave Chicago to come to Dallas. Do I want to play in Dallas? Do I want to play for Mark Cuban? I understand he's a great owner. So you got to look at it, all those things, opposed to Dallas hitting again on a top draft pick that grows with Luka.
He is eligible, by the way, for the max extension this offseason, $195 million over 5 years.
Yeah, well, I ain't nothing to talk about.
So when you asked me,
I don't know what you're looking at me for.
Where do I sign?
I don't know if he can sign.
Ain't nothing to talk about for me. I don't know what his mind is at. I don't know what these
you're
guys
22
think.
years old, and you're eligible for $195 million. I mean, he's hit basically almost every bonus. So that's what he's eligible for. He's not going anywhere. That's the kind of money you just don't walk away from that kind of money.
NBA contracts are so weird though, how they do it. You could sign that extension, but then you could probably, as Jay would know better than me, instead of doing you
can have an opt out.
You could have an opt out instead of doing the max extension. You could opt out.
Yeah.
It's all little tricks.
Well, it's the less. Now again, he'll be all NBA this year, right, Jay?
Yes.
And that's
First
the trigger. That's all he needed. That or MVP would give him the
Supermax.
The 195, and he's going to be all NBA this year.
I mean, coming into the season, he was one of the odds favorites to be the MVP.
Yeah.
They're playing with monopoly money.
I don't think the question is.
But you have an
Luka,
owner. It's a stable franchise. Like there's a lot of things, and it's just not to.
And Dallas is good though.
Dallas is a good team. Like Ja
and
in Memphis. Can you or Zion in New Orleans? The questions about those franchises are not that they're not good franchises or fan bases. Of course they are. They're great markets, but for basketball. But those are also franchises that they're not going to be able to spend. They're not going to be able to go over the luxury tax to bring in other talent to help you win a championship. They just don't have the capability to do that. Dallas does. Mark Cuban already has proven to be willing to do that. So if you're Luka, you're like, all right, let's see who wants to come here and join me.
Jay said that he's going to potentially be the face of the NBA. What does that mean, though? See, because when I look at the face of the NBA, I'm thinking Bird, Magic, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking commercials. I'm thinking all the different stuff that goes with being the face of the NBA. When the NBA says Christmas Day, we got the Lakers and LeBron James, or Kobe and LeBron, or something. That's the face to me. Will they do that in Dallas?
Yes.
Will they make the Dallas Mavericks the team of the NBA because Luka's the face of the NBA?
I mean, he's played on Christmas Day before.
Oh, yeah.
He's played on Christmas Day. I know. I hear what you're saying.
The prime, you know what I'm saying?
prime
That prime
time,
time slot on Christmas Day.
100%. Because Mark already is that kind of owner that does that too. He's a guy that people talk about. But you know how we are in the NBA? It's all the one-name guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's Luka. He's Luka. That's a one-name guy.
As the league is expanding, right? Definitely, you hear rumors future-wise that could there be potential teams in like Paris or London? Yeah. Is there going to be some kind of European connective? What do you
No,
mean?
no, I was going to ask you because you were talking about I was going to ask you, what did they just do with Africa, the NBA?
Well, it's a league.
It's a league.
They're
They own
sponsoring
the
a league there.
yes.
That
Okay.
they'll put money into it and help run it, and also help develop players, send some coaches over there, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
But since it's an international game, right, and that's how the NBA has always kind of positioned itself from a brand perspective, like Luka fits into that positioning, like because he being overseas, a guy that's been a professional since he's been 14 years old, played for major clubs. There's something to be said about that.
14 years old, I'm a professional.
Yeah, and by the way, that's
in Europe,
happening
it's
here
true.
in the
No,
United States.
I know that. It's just funny though. It's like, yeah, I'm getting about
Which is why a
300
lot of
grand
those
playing.
players come into the league a lot more ready for it than American kids who, either played 1 year of college, obviously, or doing the G League thing. It's just that they're more prepared. But
And I'll say this too.
he's an interesting topic here because it's hard for an international player
Very true.
to be the face of this league. Dirk was one of the first guys that became someone you put up in that pantheon. You just don't. It's harder for them to do because you just don't have that same appeal. Maybe the language barrier. He does. And that's very important. Yeah, well, that's the pressure that comes with being the face.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
That championship is really going to be
Well, the
important.
question isn't if Luka stays in Dallas. The question is, does Porzingis stay in Dallas? Like,
Or is he the guy you have
is
to
he the
move
guy
on
that
from?
you have to pair Luka with? Like, that's the question. Who do you pair him with, and how's the build out of the rest of the team?